What is the crack, everyone? It's Nathan here, aka the Rambling Kern, and head instructor of Kern School of Combat. So today's video is one that I really wanted to get out to everyone. It's one that I have wanted to discuss for a while, and I've actually reshot this video a number of times now because I keep thinking of new things that I want to say and new things that I feel need to be brought up and discussed with regards to this topic. So this video ended up becoming a bit more of an address to the nation sort of a post. I wanted to cover one topic, but essentially this is what it has devolved into. I feel there will probably be a few videos off the back of this, but just now for the future of the channel, I'm working on a lot of different projects that involve, craft work that I'm doing, as well as visiting different people. I want to visit a number of historical sites this year. So the content you're going to see will be changing as the year goes, and I'll be adding in new bits. So if you're interested in that, like and subscribe. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really does help me out. So anyway, onto the video itself. So I wanted to discuss the kind of current state of Irish stick fighting and some of the big issues going on in it. And one big question that has popped up for many, many years that I wanted to address. So first off, I want to very quickly explain my position, let's say, within the Irish stick fighting world, who I am and my own history. Because I think it's important for full transparency for you guys. So about 12 years ago, I became a Doyle Irish stick fighting instructor, again, under Henrik Rober, who has since left the Doyle organization. He was at the time the head of Europe, and I became a Irish stick fighting, or a Doyle Irish stick fighting instructor under him. At that time, I started up a school in Ireland. My school is now the longest running Irish stick fighting school in Ireland. And for a long time we were the only Irish stick fighting school in Dublin, or in Ireland, I should say. Then many years later, I had been talking to Maxime from when I was a teenager, when I first discovered Irish stick fighting. We had been talking back and forth. Eventually I got the opportunity to train with Maxime. I got to host him in Ireland, and I became a instructor in Antrim Bata as well. And as of now, I am the only instructor that I'm aware of in the world who teaches both Antrim Bata and Doyle Irish stick fighting. So I feel in many ways that gives me quite a unique perspective on both arts and the current state of affairs when it comes to Irish stick fighting in general. I also come from a combat sports background. I used to box and do kickboxing when I was young. I did karate, and then I moved into MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, and they're kind of my main arts these days, along with Irish stick fighting, obviously. As a result, I wanted to pressure test what I was doing. I wanted to make sure that the techniques I was doing were valid and real and worked in real time against resisting opponents. So I went and trained with the Dog Brothers and tested my material with them. If you're not familiar with who they are, I will leave links in the description to all the people I bring up in this video, so you can have a look at them. But to touch on the main crux of what I wanted to originally discuss with this video, I wanted to address certain things that pop up a lot and questions that pop up when it comes to Irish stick fighting. One of the biggest ones I see is, why are there not more techniques online? Now, some of my students made me aware of a video series that's recently got up on YouTube and a blog that's recently started posting about Irish stick fighting. And they made me aware of these because essentially what these people have done, which this has happened numerous times over the history of Irish stick fighting over the decade plus that I've been in it, where people repackage existing styles as their own style, put a new name on it, put new names on techniques, and repackage it out to the world as their own thing. Now, there's a number of issues with this. The obvious ones are that it muddies the waters, that people kind of don't know what is true and what is not. And, I have no real qualms with people who derive a system from the texts that we have and the sources that we have on Irish stick fighting and try to piece together their own system. For example, Combat Shillelagh, they are not a traditional style. They make no qualms about that, but it is from many years of martial arts that they, translate their own background into using an Irish stick, and they're quite open about that. I have no problem with people who do that once they are transparent, but a lot of people don't, and this has been one of the biggest roadblocks to people not sharing Irish stick fighting content online. Now, you can go and look at videos of Irish stick fighting, and there is actually quite a bit of content out there, but a lot of people seem to want the full system in one whole go up online. Now, I'll touch on my own opinions about all this stuff at the end, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of a context as to why this stuff is not shared. So because people basically take this stuff, repackage it and sell it off as their own thing, and trust me, a lot of people over the years have tried to make a quick buck off of this, it then makes the instructors and heads of styles a bit more hesitant to share their material out there. And I totally understand that. And even from outside the Irish stick fighting world, I have had high-ranking instructors of other styles say similar to me, and that's why they don't share stuff publicly. Now, this leads to a lot of issues, and obviously then these instructors do not want to share their content out there. So if these people have full transparency with what they're doing, then I have no issue with it. Now, one of the things that people need to understand, and I've seen this in a lot of arts, and I think it's very good to look at how arts evolve over the years. When I first started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there was 5 clubs in all of Ireland, and now there's magnitudes of 10s of 20s of that. But when I originally started, there was very, very little. And often what you see in martial arts is when the style is small, they want to protect their material. And when it gets big, it's so well known that you can't protect the material anymore because everyone's teaching it and sharing it. So then it becomes more important on who the instructor is and how well they can teach and the material that's out there, and then the style changes and evolves. You see this all the time in martial arts. This is something that eventually does happen. However, at the moment, Irish stick fighting is still a very small niche. It's basically a niche within a niche. It's weapon fighting and a small niche within that. So the instructors are wanting to make sure that there's a standard of quality going out there, that the instructors that are going out there and the material that's being taught is correct and is taught as it should be. Because when people are rebranding stuff and parroting off stuff when they don't know the full context of things, it can make that very difficult, and then the material often gets passed down in an incorrect manner. I've seen this in a number of different arts, not just Irish stick fighting. So with that, then we kind of get onto the idea of lineages. I have my own opinions on that. If you want a video on that, let me know. But a lot of people hold a lot of weight when it comes to lineages of, the art goes from this person all the way down to, the future person. We will eventually see in Irish stick fighting, as we have in, say, for example, judo, instructors who have nothing to do with the founders of the art, who've gone and, learned from other people. And, but with time, the style evolves and the instructors, go off to their corners of the world and teach and grow there. That will be a thing that happens, but at the moment, there is a big push to preserve the art as is. So one of the things that I heard brought up was basically how in the likes of HEMA, you see content just openly shared out there, and people willing to open it up, and people get very frustrated because they feel in many ways that Irish stick fighting is hidden behind a paywall. Irish stick fighting is not hidden behind a paywall. Like I said, there's a lot of material out there, and people like myself go to great lengths to educate people as to how to find instructors and how to go about learning it. At the moment, there is, by magnitude of 20, more instructors in Irish stick fighting than there has ever been. When I first started, there was one group in the country, that was mine. Now there's 4, I think, in Ireland. There's 20 plus in the States. There's groups all across Europe. There's groups in Canada. There's multiple options to learn online. So we're in the best possible time for it. The big issue I think a lot of people have is that there isn't a book or a cheap resource or an online free resource where they can just go and learn the techniques. Like I said, there is reasons for that. Now, I will touch on my own opinions on that at the end of the video, but that is generally what's going on. So it isn't really like HEMA where that stuff is disseminated out there. The other thing to understand is that within Irish stick fighting, a lot of people don't have the avenues with which you have in HEMA to go and do competitions, to do sparring events, to do all that sort of stuff where people get to see and break down the art. Even if people aren't sharing techniques, they can actually go and see what works in competitions and see the pressure tested version of the art, which I'll touch on in a minute as well. So with that lack of pressure testing comes a lot of questions, and this is something that I've touched on before, but a lot of people who come into Irish stick fighting have no intention to spar or don't want to. I really put a big emphasis on it. Not everyone has to do it, but I also understand that many people who come into Irish stick fighting come into it from a cultural background, or they come into it because it is a walking stick. These are walking sticks for many people, so it really is a great art for older people who don't necessarily want to do hard full contact sparring. However, I think it is a very important thing to do, and it's a very important thing to pressure test and understand the art that you're doing and make sure it works. Because I have been taught techniques and thought, oh, well, this technique is great. And until you go try it against someone who is trying to stop you doing it, you won't really get a good understanding for how and why you need to make that technique work and the prerequisites you need to make it work. So as a result, you see a lack of video content out there about sparring techniques and how to apply the arts, which then makes it more difficult for people to go and vet what is effective and what is not. I've said this many times before, that I feel that weapon-based martial arts are the real last bastion of absolute bullshit when it comes to martial arts. Because people look at a weapon and they think, well, you know, that's a weapon. It just takes one perfect hit and it's over. That might be the case, but if you don't pressure test and understand how the art works, you don't know if it works or not. The issue is a lot of people just go, oh, well, you know, it's a weapon, so, you know, my art's more deadly than yours, and that's that. That's not necessarily true, and that's not necessarily going to show that the thing works. Now, the other issue with people not sharing their information out there is that when people come out the woodwork and make claims about styles, or these people who are repackaging styles, and they say, oh, you know, my art is so deadly that, you know, I can't share it, and the techniques are secret, so I'm just going to lock this behind a closed door, and I'm not going to let anyone know, but know that I am the master of this style, and if you want to learn it, you can come train with me, and, you know, that's that. I've seen that happen a number of times. The issue with that is people then don't know what is right, what is wrong, and what is real and what is not. So then what happens in martial arts is you have a big issue that comes up constantly, and this is a big issue or I feel in many martial arts, is that you have the appeal to authority fallacy. Basically what that means is people see an authority figure, someone says, oh, I'm a master, I am whatever, and immediately think, oh, that person has to be, you know, their word has to be gospel, even if they aren't a particularly good instructor or whatever. Even if they not even have nothing to do with that art, people just think because they've put that term at the end of their name or the beginning of their name, whatever, that they immediately know what they're doing, even if they've completely made up everything they're talking about. So last little bits then I wanted to touch on were where to go and look at credible footage. I'm going to put links down in the description to Maxime's channel. Maxime is the head of Antrim Bata. You will see a lot of great content there. He's been putting up regular videos of techniques showing how they work and how to apply them. I'll put down links to Glen Doyles' original channel, where you will see some of Glen's content, as well as links to the Doyle Instructor list and the Antrim Instructor list. So if you are in parts of the world where you want to go and seek out an in-person instructor, you can go do that, or you can find online lessons. For myself, when I started, I went to great expense and had to travel extensively to go and learn from instructors. We are blessed that we live in an age where you can simply just go online and learn from people. So, you know, there is way more options than there has ever been. So I really suggest you go and look at those. Now, the other issue that you will have when people go and look at this stuff is that they will look at that material and try to create a complete system out of it. These are not complete systems. You will not learn a complete system off of a bit of online footage, even if there is hours and hours of it. Anyone who's done a martial art and watched stuff and tried to learn stuff and then try to go apply it in the gym will understand exactly what I mean by that. You need an instructor and you need training partners to go and ensure what you're doing works. And that comes to a final point that I wanted to bring up with relation to this that I think is very important. If you have people who are putting out content out there and either aren't showing it working, or they're simply putting up pictures and making claims and not actually showing themselves or showing their students doing the stuff, you should be dubious as to what they're doing. It's very difficult to understand the filters of this stuff, but you need to be very skeptical when it comes to learning any martial art, especially if it's one like Irish stick fighting where you might need to rely on it in a self-defense scenario. You should be very questioning of those figures and those authority figures who are teaching you these things. I don't know why so many people choose to do this. I think a lot of people either don't want to go to the effort of learning an art and starting at the bottom. A lot of people, I think, don't want to be bottom of the barrel. They want to be the master and head honcho. A lot of people, when it comes to Irish arts, for some reason think that either their Irishness, that they view themselves as more Irish than someone else, or that they should be the head honcho. I don't really know, but this seems to be things that pop up quite a bit, and it is definitely an issue I have with these people, because why not just go and train in the art, get good and learn how to apply the art. So my own opinions on this. This video was a bit of a ramble, but I'll very quickly give you my quick overview of what I think about these things and what I'm going to do going forward. So in my own opinion, I think techniques should be put out there. My own background is from strength and conditioning. All of the information you could ever possibly want on strength and conditioning is out there in the world. I realized many years ago that you do not pay for the information, you pay for the instructor, and you pay for the instructor to structure that information in a way that you can understand it. Not everyone will learn from every instructor. You could have the best person in the world, the best instructor in the world, and their method of teaching might not suit that particular individual, and they might have to go and seek out someone else. I've seen this numerous times. That is definitely something to consider. I feel that information should be shared, should be opened out there, but I also know, because I'm not the head of any one particular style, I would step on a lot of toes and upset a lot of people if I was to just simply go out there and share all that information to people, which is why I try to focus on the historical side of things and teaching you guys some of the very basics to help you understand the context of these things. However, what I'm going to do in the upcoming months and years, most likely, is show you guys the drills that I use with my group, because I feel these are very important, and I have been inspired by my coach and friend in Dog Brother Martial Arts, Benjamin Rittner, aka Lonely Dog, to share drills and how we apply the techniques, how we make those techniques work, and the drills that we use to make them work. I'm not going to be teaching you a full system. I'm not going to be teaching you large portions of systems. I'm simply going to show you guys the drills and how we apply them. It means if you have training groups out there, or if you have a training partner, you'll be able to do drills that will benefit you and help get those things out there. Now, like I said, I'm going to leave all those different resources down in the description. You're free to go through them and find anyone you want. This isn't a sale pitch. There is numerous instructors you can go to. If you want to go in person, if you want to go online, you will find people. I myself offer online if that interests you. If not, like I said, there's many other people you can go and train with. I have lots of opinions on this topic, and if you want me to do further videos on this, if there's anything in particular that kind of stood out here, feel free to let me know. I think a lot needs to change in the Irish stick fighting world for it to progress and improve, and for it to get out there and be more popular with people. I don't like this opinion that it's behind a paywall, because it's not, but I do also understand that frustration with people who have very limited resources and want to learn the art. So there are things that can be done for that, but steps need to be taken on all sides. Like I said, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If there's things you would like to hear or see, or further videos you would like, get in touch. I have a lot more content coming with all the archery projects I'm doing at the moment as well, so if you're interested in that, stick around, and thank you very much for watching. Slán.